versus, oh, let me just take an Instagram. So I want you to make sure that we prepare ahead of time so that it is simple. It's not as complicated. Okay. And I'm going to point to you here. I don't know if you guys recognize this. Anyone recognize this? I grew up on a bigger console, playing games like this. So I'm a little geeky in that aspect. Right? I grew up playing Super Mario Brothers and then Zelda and things like that. And in all those games, I wanted to win. Right? It was very exciting, and for me to be able to win it encouraged me to play some more. Right? And I think that happens with the kids. Let them win. It's okay. Just let them win. We need to create opportunities for them to succeed. You want the kids to succeed, don't you? I mean, like, it doesn't make sense to create a game where no one's winning and everyone's frustrated, right? We all enjoy games that we can win, or at least the chance that we could win. Especially, in Hội đồng Huynh trưởng, don't stump the kids. I've seen kids get frustrated because the thư là khó quá, just because Huynh trưởng says, "Oh, I'm going to make it so hard," and kind of say that, "Hey, I'm pretty good at thư," but you really didn't achieve anything because it's so difficult and it's no fun for the kids. It's frustrating and no one really learns anything. You want a game that the kids, you don't want the kids calling it, if they can't win, what do they call it? They call it boring, right? So you want them to be able to achieve that sense of excitement through winning. And I think a lot of times it's very easy to change things up so that it is winnable, right? I'll give you an example here. Okay, so here's the question. I hope, raise your hands, or I don't know if anyone can answer this, but here's the question. Which son of David had his hair caught in a tree, right? You go ahead and type or unmute yourself. If you know the answer, just type it out as Solomon, Nathan, Absalom, or Amnon, okay? Very obscure names. Some of you have never heard of them before, but I guarantee you all four of these are sons of David, okay? But one of them got his hair caught on a tree, right? But if you gave this to a young kid, it's like, oh, I don't know. The only name that I recognize on here is Solomon. Maybe that's him. Or, Nathan. I hear a lot of names around with Nathan. Maybe that's him, right? I think that a question like this is difficult for the kids. But what if I did something like this? What if I changed it up and made it so that it's easier for them to win and learn, right? So I changed my answers to be A, Jesus, B, Absalom, C, Anyung, or D, Jinyung. Okay, so I made it in a way that it's fun. I'm pretty sure they're going to look at, Jinyung is not a son of David, she's a girl, right? And then Anyung wasn't like born during that time, and Jesus. When did Jesus ever get his hair caught in a tree? But so the answer is Absalom. Okay, and I guarantee that if you come back to the question later on, a week later, and gave him the original question, then they will pick it up. It gives them the chance to succeed. It gives them a chance to get it right. Okay, I don't know if anyone got it right, but Absalom is the name, and he got his hair caught in a tree, and that was one of the stories. Okay, so I also, one of the things that I hear a lot from Huynh trưởng is that các trường tends to do, we need to do something new, or I think we've done that before, and and that's great and everything, and I appreciate and I love the fact that you guys are throwing things into introducing new things. But when we introduce new things, we forget to repeat it, right? I've witnessed kids like playing things over and over again and enjoying it, duck, duck, goose, or things that they've been doing weeks on end and getting very familiar with it, and they enjoy themselves. And I think that's great because it's repeatable. If you're going to introduce something new, make sure you continue it and repeat it. In fact, the Catholic Church itself has a history of repetition. I mean, like literally every Sunday, our Mass is spot on. It's routine, but and then everyone in mass knows exactly when things are going to happen, right? The cycle of reading happens over and over every 3 years, right? It helps us to learn when we repeat it, and we don't need to teach kids new songs every week. Just sing the same set of songs over and over until they know how to do it, right? So, like uh, when I was teaching my kids the kinh dân ngày, mỗi buổi sáng Hiếu chở con Hiếu đi học, and I would recite with them the like Chúa Giêsu thánh thể, right? And then I would recite to them the kinh nhân ngày and bài hát dân ngày and rước lạy thiêng liêng over and over again until today. I don't really say anything. I just say like trái tim cực thánh Đức Chúa Giêsu. That's all I say, and they just run with it, right? Because I repeated it for a whole month until they learned it, and I think that's key because repetition with kids is safe. It's something that they understand and they recognize, right? And then so you introduce something new, but you got to make sure you repeat it. Okay. Yeah, we have to get in the habit of doing that. And I've also noticed one last thing is we as Sunchung, especially some of the shy ones, we tend not to talk to the kids, right? You set up these virtual sinhat, and you're just sitting there waiting for the kids to come and waiting for your time to start, right? So what I did earlier with the rocks. I tried to involve you, get you to talk and get you guys to so that there's no dead air. What I've seen is that Hunchung comes into the session and they're waiting for the kids, and it's completely dead air, right? Kids love to talk. Kids love to tell, what did I do this week? What's new and things like that. And if you give them an opportunity to kind of fill in that dead air, there's all these opportunities that you can to teach them the Bible, teach them new things. For instance, why did I bring out the rock? Well, I thought about the rock because last week's Sunday Mass was, what was it about? Well, Jesus asked his disciples, who do people say that I am? And people said that, the disciple says that they say that you are John the Baptist. Some said that you were Elijah. But it was Peter, Simon Peter, who said, you are the Christ, right? The Son of the living God. And then Jesus says, blessed you, Simon, son of Jonah. And I say to you, you are Peter, the rock, right? You are Peter, the rock. And that's where you get the rock. Okay? Find opportunities, talk to the kids. Find opportunities to show them and teach them and guide them. That there's all these opportunities around if you just talk to them. Okay, don't leave the session in dead air kind of thing. Okay, I want to kind of shift our focus now from the kids to the parents. Okay, this is something I wanted to reiterate because I think it's important as myself as a parent. It kind of resonated with me when James mentioned it in his session too. Are we being parent friendly? Okay, because parents are the key to our success. Really, they are, because they will help the kids attend your sessions, right? For the younger kids, parents will be the IT experts for them, helping them join your sessions. Yeah, for the older kids, the parents are the one, con tham gia đây, con join on đến giờ rồi, con ơi nhớ đi sinh hoạt nhá, kind of thing. And they will give you feedback on what is working with their kids and what's not working, right? And we don't talk to them enough to know that. And they will support you and they will make your life easier. I guarantee it. So you need to start filling them in, communicate with them, listen to them, notify them. They want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on with my kids. I want to know what's happening in their school, what's happening in Thiếu Nhi, what's happening in Yali. Okay. And I think the important thing also is when you do this and you create a rapport with them, they will forgive you. What I mean is that it's easier to forgive someone that you know and love than a foreign entity somewhere. And so if you goof up, they'll tend to forgive you a little bit more easier once you create that bond with them. Okay. Any particular questions on that piece right now, or we can save it for later? But I just wanted to remind you of today's goals. We wanted to find ways to help our kids succeed. Right now, I want to focus on us as Winter. Okay, how can we succeed? Okay, how can we succeed? Well, I kind of broke it into three topics. One is to preparing the help, preparing me, and preparing our content. And that's where we'll talk a lot about the resources as well. So if you look at it, it's help me teach. Okay, how do I succeed? Well, we're gonna help you teach. Okay, so first help. Okay, prepare the help. Now, even during normal activities, when we're outside the COVID thing, you should have at least a minimum of 2 adults. Hai huynh trưởng, hai người lớn 18 tuổi trở lên with the kids at any time. Okay, that's a given. So if you already have them there, why not allow them to help, right? Have one of them take care of the logistics while you're doing the lessons, while you're doing the teaching. Especially with the virtual activities, it helps to have this moderator. I mean, thankfully, we have Tony and Socrates helping us with all these technical aspects of these virtual sessions, right? Shout out to them. They've been doing a wonderful job. So that I don't have to, run back and forth and checking on, the sessions, right? They're watching out for me and they're taking care of these little nitty gritty stuff. And plus, I think it's also a great opportunity if you think about it for our Hipsi Juntan who you guys are mentoring, and then or if you are a Hipsi Juntan or a brand new Hunter, just volunteer. Right, volunteer to help, because I believe in creating opportunities. You need to get help. I know that you can do it alone, but why do you have to? Right, create a teaching and a service opportunity, and then as a new Winter, maybe you jump in and jump into that service opportunity as well. You get someone to take care of the logistics so you can focus on the activity that you're doing. Okay, because I know it looks simple and everything, but Teams does one thing one way. Zoom does something else that way, and we haven't even talked about Google Hangout and GoToMeeting and WebEx and things like that. Each one of them has a different nuance, and depending on your platform, you might need that help. And if you're not familiar with all these techie stuff, maybe mình lấy cái cơ hội này mình tìm những huynh trưởng mà biết như này để kêu gọi họ để giúp cho mình. Okay, so I believe in Chúa nói là wherever there's two, I am there. So I believe make sure you have at least one person to help you out. And even in Thiếu Nhi đó, we've always gone through that route, right? Một người trực trực and một người dạy khóa, right? So make sure that you prepare the help. Even with this session alone, I met with Socrates and I met with Tony. Early on, we talked about how to promote the session so it goes smoothly. Okay, so now let's prepare the me. Okay, prepare the me, right? Kids tend to pick up on our enthusiasm. Okay, so I want you to prepare yourself so that you are enthusiastic and getting ready to go. Okay, if you're engaging them at the beginning with chit-chatting with them, then they're already excited. They're already there. When I talked to you about the rock, some of you were laughing and giggling. That's fine. That's fine. It just means that I hopefully got your attention a little bit, right? And if you're teaching a song, memorize it. Memorize the songs that you're teaching and then sing it with enthusiasm, right? Be willing to sing and dance, even if it looks funny, right? I mean, Yun can attest to that. You've seen her video online, hopefully, where she's like, what is it? Who is the man? Shake his hand, right? So, it looks interesting but it gets them motivated and it looks kind of cool, right? Teaching songs, if you're teaching a song with paper, I think that's a no-no. Okay, I've seen. One time I've witnessed a Hunjung. Not to say anything bad about him, but I saw him teaching by heart sakali, and he was holding it like, okay, kakem, we're gonna sing a song today. Repeat after me. Sakalila, sakalila, shao, shao, shao. Right? Okay. Well, it's great. It's so easy to learn. All you got to do is just make it interesting. So, kakem, yado, yare, follow me. Do it exactly as I say. Sakalila, sakalila, sao, sao, sao. Right? Make it interesting. Show your enthusiasm, and remember repetition. Okay. But I have to tell you a disclaimer. That's a song I heard, but we as 3E shouldn't be singing non songs that have nothing to do with what we're trying to teach. Okay. So that's my disclaimer. But that's the song that I heard. Okay. So if you're going to tell a story, I want you to bring it to life. Change your tone, change your pitch. When you're telling a story, get into the story, make the story come alive. Okay, it's just get really into it. One of the stories I asked and the TA if I could use his name, so I'll tell you a little story right now. Okay, one day TA was in his car with Moses, right, in his Prius. I think TA, you have a Prius, right? So he's in the car with Prius, and Moses says, "Daddy, there's a bee in the car. There's a bee in the car flying around, and it's gonna bite me. It's gonna bite me." And then TA, pulls his car over, and he waits for the bee to land, and he puts his hand on the bee, and he knows he's waiting. He's waiting for the moment when the bee is gonna sting him. He knows it. He knows it. And it stings him, and he lets go of the bee. And the bee flies around, and Moses is saying, "Daddy, the bee is gonna hurt me. The bee is gonna hurt me. It's still around. It's flying around." And then TA turns around to Moses, and he shows him his hands, and he says, "No, that bee can't hurt you anymore. Look at my hands. Look at the hole in my hand. That bee can't hurt you anymore. I took the pain for you." Okay, so a story like that, you can totally take it and say, in this week's gospel, literally this week's gospel, Jesus says, I have to go to Jerusalem and suffer for you. And Jesus says that I will be killed and raised on the third day. And Peter says, no, God forbid, that's not going to happen. But Jesus turns around and says, Peter, Satan, get behind me. You're not thinking as God does. If you want to follow me, be my disciple, you have to deny yourself and carry your cross. Okay? So that story kind of leads into this week's gospel too. And so I want you to think about these little stories, the little idioms, and create opportunities to teach Kakem with passion, telling these stories with passion, and let the kids know how passionate you are about the stories in the Bible and the story of our salvation. Okay, show your enthusiasm. But I have to tell you, be your enthusiastic self. Okay, find your inner you, right? Your inner singer or your storyteller. And Kung said that he can't sing very well, but he does it with a passion. He does it with enthusiasm, right? And find that teacher in you, right? Don't be someone else though. Don't try to copy someone else's style. Be your own style. I mean, you can try, but I guarantee you might be disappointed in the result, right? You need to find your own voice, and you need to find that enthusiasm. Okay, so that's what I meant by preparing yourself, being me. Okay. And now I want to into a little bit more the content itself, right? If you're going to tell a story in the Bible, I guarantee you the best resource there is for the Bible is the Bible itself. Okay, make sure you read the story and you're not recalling it from memory or because you saw it in the movie. Okay, I mean, there wasn't two of each animal in Noah's Ark, right? Read the Bible, find out. There wasn't two of each animal. We always make that mistake. Adam and Eve did not eat an apple. Okay, and Jonah wasn't swallowed by a whale. Okay, we have to get this fact right. So the best resource that I can say for Bible stories and bringing it alive is the Bible itself. So make sure you're also reading the Bible. Now, I know that there are other resources online, but what I tend to do is I think it's more difficult for resources online. I think each of you have to kind of invest, have your Duan or your chapters invest in books, right? For instance, I like the bee story that I told you about. I found it from something called Hot Illustrations, and I know it's kind of weird because I was skimming through these stories one time with a window over my shoulders, and they're looking at me like, Anil, why are you looking at Hot Illustrations? That's kind of odd and inappropriate. No, it's not that. It's actually a book about illustrations that you can take and you can use, and they're already categorized into themes that we tend to teach as well, right? Chicken Soup for the Soul, youth specialties, games books. We struggle. A lot of us struggle to find retreat resources. Okay, and it's very difficult to find them just lying there online. You have to take the effort to find them, and these books already lay out a bunch of stuff for you to go through, and they already centered around themes that you can reuse. Okay, there are very specific themes that you've already have. For instance, I've got this game book here. It's called The Giant Book of Games, and what it is that it's just a bunch of book games, but in the back, it's categorized into categories based off of themes in the Bible. For instance, it even has scriptures. So if you're teaching a scripture story, like say maybe Mark chapter 1, 14 to 20, well, there's a game for that. There's probably a game or an activity about that. And even if there's not a clear distinction, at the very bottom, usually most of these game books have a way on how to connect them back to your what you're teaching. Okay, so I'll list out the ones that I like the most in the SharePoint, but you have to actually take the effort to look for them. Actually, I think a lot of our Ninlim, our membership fees, I believe should go to these libraries for each of your chapter. And I think having someone keep this library so that you have resources available to help your kids. Okay, and I think a lot of the stories that I tend to tell, and I tend to tell my kids, and tend to regurgitate into Sinhat is children's book. Okay, actual children's book that they have very simple themes and very great, very simple, easy to read, easy to read to the kids. I mean, having them, you retell them or you read them in front of them, they're mesmerized, especially the younger kids, and they have all these little lessons in them. And I think we just have to make an effort to convey those stories. Okay. I think also, I think each and every one of India should always be ready with something, right? You have something ready to go. And I think if you have these, what I created was these called pocket games, right? I would go to Sinhat, and in my pocket, there would be a little cheat sheet. And in that cheat sheet has a game or a song that I can just pull out, right? Always ready with something. And then because sometimes I get distracted and I can't remember exactly what I'm doing. I have these little pocket games, and I just take it out and use them. And I also believe that we each should have an activity library. What do I mean by activity library? Well, I have a Google Doc, and if I'm already using something, I can rehash it and use it on the fly, especially if I've got dead air or if I think there's something that would be helpful for the kids. then I've got something available. And James sent me a list of his go-to activities, and I'll share that with you as well. Thank you to James for that. But what I'm talking about is, let's see if you can still see my screen. I've got this drive that I keep, all these games available that I kind of rehash and regurgitate. And I had a Lenten trivia at one time, and instead of throwing away, it's always there and ready to go. For instance, I had a Lenten trivia with Jin Yung probably remembers this, based off of Legos that one year, 2015. But now I've rehashed it and reused it. I've actually created the same. I've taken the same exact thing and really just created a Kahoot game out of it, right? And so these activity libraries is something that are my pocket games. Whenever I need them, I take them out and I pull them out, and I'll freely share this with you in as well in the SharePoint, okay? And then I'll take this, and if I are stuck or something like that, I can just access them and reference them, okay? So I believe each and every one of us should have some sort of pocket activity ready to go and ready to play. Okay. Let me see if I can get back here. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to kind of talk a little about something more specific. Not only can you use them during a regular activity, but because of the COVID situation, we've had to kind of make do with a lot of our PowerPoint games, right? Or our cardboard games that we tend to have with Kakem, and we have to play everything online. And I wanted to go through some of the things that I've tended to use and been successful with. But of course, if you have anything else, feel free to put them on the chat window, and then we can share it with each other. Okay. The first one you might have known is Kahoot, right? Let's see. I'm going to take off the slide. I'm going to ask Tony to share his screen as I walk through them, if possible, if that's possible, Tony. So the first site is called Kahoot. Yeah, you might want to mute yourself too.
Oh, by the way, here's the results.
Okay, what's the name of our rock?
There are many names. Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom. All right.
There's
so his name is Bottom.
Diamond.
Diamond. Right? I like that, Diamond.
Messiah.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
I think we'll call him Min. Min Bottom. Bottom Min. How's that? Okay, if you can mute yourself, Tony, I'm still hearing an echo. Okay. Okay, so you guys know about Kahoot. This morning, Lin went through a Kahoot game with you. No, not a not a Kahoot game. Yeah, so he went through a Kahoot game with you. Most of you already know what it is. It's very user friendly. It looks cool for the kids. It's very bubbly and easy to use. Okay, that's one resource that I've used before. It's great and it's easy to share. The kids have their own little buttons to play. Now, I also want to introduce you to something called like Factile. It's very similar, but the reason why I prefer Factile is because you can interact and get into teams. So you can have a bunch of people on your meeting, your Zoom meeting or your Teams meeting, and they can filter into these teams and play as a team. And then each one of you has a buzzer, so that there's no one shared buzzer. I mean, Kahoot has the ability to play as team, but there's only one buzzer, and that's kind of difficult because you're virtual everywhere. But with Factile, which we'll play in a little bit, you have the ability to play as a team, and each one of you has a buzzer as well. Now, what happens when you're out in the desert or out in Samak and there's no internet connection, right? Kind of hard to play if you don't have internet connection. Well, I've also put on here, if you can go to the download Jeopardy game, the third link there, PFTQ, and what it is that I've also used it before. I'll also post it for our CE trivia, And what it is, it's a downloadable application for Windows as well as Mac that you can create your own Jeopardy questions, and then you can take anywhere as long as you have a laptop. Okay, so you don't need Wi-Fi, right? Basically, especially in places where there is no Wi-Fi. Okay. Now, kids like to draw, and most of you are familiar with Scribble.io, where you competing with each other trying to draw. But most of your Zoom or your Teams meeting also has the ability to do meeting whiteboard, right? Where if you launch a meeting whiteboard, each of you can draw stuff on the screen itself. So, for instance, on your screen here, as Tony is drawing something, I can also pick a color and start drawing myself, and as well. So a bunch of team members, một cái đội đó có thể vẽ một cái hình này, just Pictionary or something like that. Okay, so it's already built into your virtual session, so there's no need to go looking for that. Okay. One of the things that we tend to do is that we tend to call on kids, call on people, but you kind of like, you tend to call on one kid more than the other. Well, there's a solution for that. There's picker wheel or wheel of names, and what it is that you just list out a bunch of kids' name, and you copy paste it. For instance, right now Tony is going to take all the attendance lists, right? Take all the attendance lists, put it on the wheel, and he's going to spin the wheel. And whoever's name is going to come up is going to unmute and say hello and where you're from, which Don, which Lindon, and say hello to everyone. Who do we got? Sun Tuyết Trần Hoàng, right? Can you unmute and say hello to everyone? If you notice here also, you have the ability to remove that selection that you just had, so that you don't, or you can, leave them there for the next round. Okay. Tuyết, are you there? You might have lost her. We're scared of. Who's the next one? Lana.
Lana.
Are you there, Lana?
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
Hello. Where are you from?
Okay.
And
this is Lana Lam. I'm from JP2, and I'm the huynh trưởng of Nghĩa Sĩ. Yes.
Thank you, Delana. Very good. So, so this is great for like picking names or raffles or prizes. Okay, and getting the kids to interact, and it creates anticipation of who's going to get it next. And the key thing here is you have the ability to remove the names after you select them or keep them there. Okay. Yes. We've also done live polls. Teams as well as Zoom also has the ability to create live polls, and you have already had the experience with Poll EV earlier on in this session, where it's a live poll that you can do and then get feedback from các em and from huynh trưởng or whoever's in the session. Okay, Teams also has something similar where you can do the forms and whatnot. Okay, so just some things that I've known that I know kind of works, that is has worked for me in the past. I just wanted to share that with you. Basically, anything that we can do, let me see if I can share my screen again. Anything that we can do in Pyongyang, I believe we can probably do online as well. So, for instance, one of our Đoàn in Liên đoàn Thanh Gia even created a virtual game where you can sign on a multimedia server and then be a person and kind of I don't know if I can play this, but they had a game. They had a game where you were a character and you walk around and you went into Hanjin, and then other Hunjung would sign on and they would be other characters standing there. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I just wanted to kind of share that with you here, where you're running around looking for something, and you're looking for Matu, and seeing a picture, trying to solve puzzles, and then talking to Hunjung. I thought that was pretty cool. Some other virtual ideas for here and there, which I've gathered here and there. Of course, we have, the Tanle by Chavante online virtually. Storybook. So when I read a story to some of my kids' families, I read it, but I have sound effects. And my eldest son actually does sound effects when I read a certain place. There's a little sound effect in the background, which is kind of interesting for the kids who are listening in. They're like waiting, in anticipation. What's the next sound? What's the next sound? And things like that. Nighttime offering. Some of our Dawn does a virtual nighttime offering. Their scavenger hunt. You get the kids to run around the house looking for something and bringing it up to the screen as a scavenger hunt. There are ways to get the kids active. Play a video or something like Just Dance on YouTube. Where they're dancing to one of their favorite songs. Karaoke. I don't know if you've had the opportunity. There's the folks who have done karaoke. I know that there's also like a lag, but if you look up something like Watch Together, where it will stream the video, the YouTube video for all your participants in a synchronized, so that everyone is hearing the same thing. You just kind of have to lower the volume so that you don't get distracted by other people singing, but at least you're all synchronized in a way that you can sing at the same time. Okay. There's painting. I think V had mentioned that at her time too. There, virtual painting where you're painting together, cooking together, and there's always exercise together. Things that you can do to help the kids to motivate themselves, like meditation and yoga kind of thing, right? I think there are, if you guys have ideas that to throw around, I would love to hear it. I would want to, let's share it together. I personally believe not to hide anything. Everything I know, everything, good news should be shared. And that is basically what the gospel is, right? Good news. Gospel means this is the good news. And it should be shared. Jesus shared it. So I think a lot of this stuff is good news. Anything that we can share, we should share. Okay. With that, I kind of wanted to play a little game with you and then kind of show you how Factile worked. And then we'll kind of close off. So here's what I want you to do. Tony's going to share his screen, and we're each going to go to a site called playfactile.com/join. Now, the first one to get on there and pick a team, you are the team leader. Okay, the first one to go on there and pick the team. There's only 4 teams, so it doesn't matter who you get or which team it is. The first one to go on there, put in the code, playfactile.com/join. Put in that code. There's 4 teams. If you happen to be the first one, then you are the team leader. So you'll be responsible for a lot of the the final Jeopardy and things like that. Okay, so we've already got 2 teams. 2 teams ready to go. Anyone after that, you will be randomly thrown into a team. Okay, you will be randomly thrown into a team. So we're gonna see what this is like. So there's 4 teams. Great, Tony. We have 4 teams, and so you can still continue to join in. So go ahead and continue to join in and play along as well. Okay. And here we go. Here we go. If you guys are ready, we go. And so there's 2 ways to answer. Okay. Once you buzz in, there's a little pop-up that goes, you can type in the answer if you're a little shy and you don't want to people to hear your voice, just go ahead and type it in and enter. If you're a little bit more brave, unmute yourself and yell out the answer, and Tony will accept it. Okay. So yeah, I hope that you can unmute yourself and yell out the answer. But if you yell out the answer for another team, that team's gonna get it. Okay. So once you buzz in, make sure you answer, and the little arrow is going to point at your logo. So I don't know who you are. I don't know which team you're in. So we're just gonna play. Okay. Okay. So someone from Aonyi, I'm gonna just pick a random one. Okay. So we got places, people, what Jesus says, mothers, numbers, and parables. Okay. So we're gonna go with places for 100, Tony. The place of Jesus' birth. Okay, you see, we have someone from Yesi buzz in. You can either unmute yourself or type in the answer. You have a time limit, by the way. Oh, okay, let's see the answer for Yesi. Is it correct? The place of Jesus' birth, is it Bethlehem? Yes, it is Bethlehem. Very good. And so you'll get that point, right? Perfect, you got 100. So unmute yourself, whoever answered, and pick another category and another number.
Oh, I think that was me.
Okay.
Places for 200.
Places for 200, here we go. The land where Joseph and Mary took Jesus to escape death. Okay. See? He has an answer. And the answer is Egypt. Is Egypt correct? Yes. What is Egypt? It is correct. I'm not too concerned about saying what is, but this version, I've turned off the ability to buzz in if you are incorrect. So if you get the answer wrong in Jeopardy, you have the ability to buzz in for those who other contestants. So I've already turned that off, but you have that ability if you need to. Okay. So so go ahead, Hipsy. Whoever got it right, pick another category. Hipsy.
Parables 300.
Parables for 300. Instead of rocks, a house built on this type of material will be easily knocked down. Okay, Aonyi. Aonyi answered. What is the answer? Sand. Is sand correct? Yes, it is. What is sand? Perfect. Perfect. Good. So you have the ability to play as a Jeopardy style. You also have the ability to play with memory. So if you know the memory game, it switches on and off as a memory game, and then you have the ability to play as a flashcard and various things. So go back to. That's okay. It's okay, Tony. We'll get there later. Go back to the game. Okay. So pick the next category. I'm waiting for the daily double.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus says for 100.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesus says for 100. Here we go. Jesus said it was easier for this animal to go through the eye of a needle. Aonyi. The answer. Yeah, 15 seconds. Let's see your answer. A camel. Camel is correct. Camel is correct. Perfect. Okay, pick the next one. Trying to see if Nantil it will get any points here.
Go to Yi.
Are you the only one in Disney?
No.
Okay, if you're not gonna pick, I'm gonna pick mothers for 200. Mothers for 200. His mother placed him inside a tiny ark and floated him down the Nile River. Until answered. What is your answering, Until?
Moses.
Moses. Moses is correct. Moses is correct. Perfect. Awesome. Pick the next one, Yantheo.
Mother's 400.
Okay, if you're not 400, Mother's 400. The patron saint of the United States of America.
Saint Therese of Lisieux.
Saint Teresa of Lisieux.
Yes. Oh, I didn't buzz.
Is that see?
That was you? Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do now is simulate. There's also the option of daily double
That was
here.
my point.
So we're going to simulate that by
Thank you.
playing.
No, thank you. Thank you.
That's okay. It's actually Mary. Okay, so go back to manage teams. No, sorry. Play factile. Continue. Hit continue. Okay, since all of you have some points, we're going to play the simulate the final Jeopardy. Okay, so the final factile, Tony. Yes. Okay, so each team leader has the ability to wager now. Okay, if you need to discuss it, then great. But each team leader, the first one, that's why the first one in is important. That now the first one into each team has to add the wager in. Okay, and when you wager, when you're ready, hit OK, and then we can move on with the question. So we're waiting on Ngania and Ngani Hipsi for your wager. Hipsi. Okay, now let's. Can we see the wager at all, or it's okay? We can play now. So here's the final question. These books record the teachings of Jesus, 3 of which are synoptics. Okay, so Aunyi has wagered 200, and Theo has wagered 600. Ngasi has wagered 100, and Hipsi has wagered 199. Okay, very good. So we got 2 answers. We're waiting for Ngasi on the answer and Hipsi on the answer. Time's up. Time's up. Sorry, Ngania. Time's up. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Nganao said. Nganao said gospel. Is gospel right? Yes, gospel is correct. I would have taken Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but it's okay. Mark, Luke, Matthew. You're missing John. I asked for all the books.
No, you said 3.
3 are synonymous.
3 of them were synoptic. Right? These books record the teaching of Jesus, 3 of which were synoptic. Okay, so Hipsi, what do we have for Hipsi? Matthew, Mark, and Luke, which is also incorrect. So who do we have? Who do we have? Hipsi never answered, so I don't know if we can count them or not. Congratulations, Team Aunyi. Okay, so I want to kind of just kind of demonstrate Factile a little bit for you. I can make this available and share that with you if you have an account. This is, I know that we tend to like to do free things, but sometimes we have to make an investment. And I think a lot of the features that are offered, if nếu mà các trường có thể xin đoàn một tí, because it will go a long way for the kids, and you can share the account too, because personally, this is one of the things I tend to go to, because one, you can either play as Jeopardy, you can play with flashcards, you can play as multiple choice just to learn, you can have a quiz bowl, and you play memory too. So there's a lot of options for you here. And that's just one of the many things that we went through today, and hopefully we each can contribute and continue to giúp các em học hỏi về Chúa, and mình hướng dẫn các em về đó. Games are always nice, games are always great, but make sure that we remember to allow them, give them the opportunity to win. Okay? Any questions? Anybody have any questions from based on what we talked about? So I'm going to share a link. If you have any further questions for me, go ahead to go to the question link. If you have any feedback, let me know. I only played one of the mini games, but we presented a lot of stuff. There's a lot of resources. We'll share these slides with you, and we will continue to create examples. And then if we have the opportunity, we'll refresh and then play more games. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and I look forward to interacting with you more in the future.
There's a question in the chat. When will you be sending out resources, Drive, SharePoint you showed? They look great. Thanks.
Okay.
Oh, Daniel answered.
So all the resources are available on VEYM SharePoint right now, as of right now. This is the last session in the August sessions. So the SharePoints will be available probably by tomorrow. Earliest is tonight, even including some of the videos as well. So you will need a VEYM account, though. You will need to be part of VEYM. And again, I wanted to remind you guys that's where a lot of our cost goes. When you're contributing to the membership fees, that's where it goes. We have a centralized location to share with you some of these resources, to share with you the videos and the PowerPoint slides. And it's great because you have an email address, you have access to PowerPoint, you have access to Word online if you need it, sharing documents more so than I think Google, so that if you needed to send big files as well. So that's where a lot of our membership is going. So I know that we'll probably talk about the future offerings of the website, but I hope that you guys sign on and get an account. Okay. Next.
Any more questions? Nope. That's it. Okay, nếu mà các trường mà ai có câu hỏi thì go ahead and just submit the questions and all the feedback for today's session. And thank you so much for joining us here today. And thank you so much, Anh Hiếu, for providing us a very fruitful and knowledgeable một cái session rất là hay. Có nhiều thứ in here I've learned all through my 2-year life, but I've actually only learned it today. So I think this will be very beneficial for also Linda and Damin Savio to share this with các trưởng và để các trưởng có thể giúp các em gần gũi tới Chúa hơn. Again, we hope that, of course, obviously, you're going to come back at our next session, obviously. But to conclude the session today, thì Nhung cũng muốn do a closing prayer so that we can end the night with Jesus in our hearts. All right. So if you can take a moment to just, again, take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out, just relax and think about our day today, and think about all the sessions that we have learned today, and give thanks to God. So, dear God, as we close this training today, we want to give honor to you. Thank you for the time that we had today to learn about you and ways to bring you closer to our Tunyi. And may you bless each person who took the time together here today, and let your hand of protection be on them throughout the rest of the week. And let the work done here tonight come to fruition, and let it all be for your glory. Help us each to do our parts to bring what we've learned to life. We ask all these in your mighty name. Amen. Cha và Con và Thánh Thần. Amen. Và các trưởng ơi, thì our September sessions will resume in the second week of September. We will send out all the topics, and the time will be still the same on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. 1 p.m. Eastern time, and also the night sessions at 7 p.m. Pacific time and 10 p.m. Eastern time. So we will just check it back on Liên đoàn Thanh Gia Facebook or Liên đoàn Đa Minh Savio or VEYM Facebook. We will post all the posters there and just follow us there. And we hope that you can encourage các trưởng trong đoàn to attend these sessions so that way they can sharpen the skills and gain more knowledge so then we can be more beneficial to the kids. All right. And I hope that you enjoyed the session today, and we hope to see you in September. Take a good break.